Welcome, guys, to Freedom Tech Gaming, or it might be my TNW channel. We're going to review Boys in the Hood. How we're going to translate it came out in 1991, and we're going to see how everything changed, like how that movie changed from 1991 to 2020. So we're going to talk about the movie, and then we're going to have a discussion of of the movie and how it translates to real life. I did my sister Marisha Walker. Say how you doing?
Hello, friends. How are y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. All right. What's your recap of the movie so far? You like?
My personal opinion
Yeah.
of the movie. Well, of course, as we know, it's a classic of Black cinema. Um, of course, I've seen it before multiple times, but being able to watch it again recently, um, I had to remind myself, like, wow, this is, of course, like a great movie. But I also feel like it definitely touches on a lot of the issues that, of course, we've dealt with systemically and socially as African Americans, as Black Americans, Black people in the United States. So, of course, you can definitely pull parallels from what was happening in the early 90s to what is happening currently now in 2020.
And this
Um,
was and this was before the L.A. riots, 1992. That was a year before
mhm,
of the whole
mhm.
Rodney King. And they're like, was it Rodney King? Yeah, but the L.A.
LA, it was what caused the LA riots. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the beating of Rodney King. So yeah, and it definitely shows that what's going on today is nothing new. We've been, police brutality has always been an issue in the Black community, even since it really came to head with, of course, with Eric Gardner and with other ones, and then of course even the killings of Mike Brown, and we're looking all the way back at Trayvon Martin. Just when it comes to society and communal issues, like it's definitely you can definitely pull parallels from right now.
Yeah, like it parallels to a whole lot of issues like regarding single parents like homes and police brutality, racial tension between police and community, and
Yeah.
what this movie touches back based on is the gentrification of what Lucy was talking about, lowering the value of businesses that make a profit.
hmm
That
Yeah,
what we
exactly.
going around right now in our black
Exactly.
community.
And even to not even ignore the community violence that even happens. I don't want to call it black on black violence, because at the end of the day, when you are living in a community with only Black people and then there's violence happening, you can't necessarily say, oh, it's black on black. It's in their community that happens. Just like if you go into the suburbs and you have a white person that commits a crime against another white person, you're not going to name it white on white crime. It was just that a crime was committed in that community. So, but I do think if we care enough about improving the livelihood of everyone that's within the Black community, you have to be able to address the community of violence, but then you also have to address the systemic inequities that leave their room to be open for such community violence to happen. And so, of course, you saw that even in Boys in the Hood. Like when you take a community that has a lack of resources, you take a community that doesn't have a lot of real influence that allows the youth within that community or within whatever that um in those surroundings to be able to pull, themselves to be able to see that there are opportunities. I mean, that can only lead to certain disasters. So when your only way out, of course, as you saw with Ricky,
Mhm.
um, Ricky had a terrible GPA, so but he was a great sportsman, and so
A
for a
great
lot
football player.
right, a great football player. So for a lot of our black male youth, they see their only way out being sports.
Mhm.
That's the way that they're able to, get a career or be able to have an opportunity to get outside of the hood. So, and you see that
Yeah.
now. So yeah.
Do you think like one of those Ricky and Doughboy
Mhm.
had total different paths of because Doughboys was a gangster, like he was a product of his environment.
Mhm.
Ricky trying to better himself, but he didn't get to that second level.
Right, right.
And like, do you think maybe not having a father figure like what Trey had, like had both mother and father, but the mother gave it to Lucis, so like knowing
Mhm.
that he can, a mother has is so much far to do to teach the boy how to become a man, and then why Rita gave it to Lucis
Mhm.
to teach Trey how to become a man, how to because like to become like
Yeah. I
that
get what
same
you're saying. Yeah.
path.
Mhm.
Do you think that if Ricky and Doughboy had a strong male figure in the household,
Mhm.
it will change different? Different?
Um, well, I think in this particular instance, I can't say that it wouldn't be a positive influence on them to have their father in the house. I mean, you don't want to downplay, of course, single parents because a
Mm.
lot of them have no choice but
Then,
to play both roles. But I think that in this particular story, you do see the difference
yeah.
in how,
Yeah.
and not only that in the influence, but then also to the mind frame of which his father Lucius was in.
Mhm.
Like he was a conscious man, so he was someone that was aware. Everybody's father is not won't
Yeah.
can't it would have been the same, but you can definitely see how him having the influence of his mom and his dad, who both really succeed, and then also with Ricky and Doughboy's mom. I think that I feel like she ultimately wanted best for both of her kids, which is why, she was really amped about, getting Ricky into college, especially with the football team. And, Ricky, he was a father himself, he had a son. But I also feel like she dealt with the realities too the best way that she could. And you can also see her exhaustion with Doughboy. I mean, some could see that she may have kind of gave up on him, so that's why she was just hoping to at least get one success, with her son
I don't-
Ricky. It could be, as just my interpretation of but that's just what that situation was. And you can even tell that Doughboy was very smart. He was a very smart guy,
mm,
but he was someone who, um I guess you can say, a product of his environment. I guess you can say that, but he knew how to survive.
mm,
He was just someone who knew how to survive, the streets,
mm.
the best way that he knew how. So yeah, so it's definitely, I can definitely say that it could have definitely been a positive influence if they both were able to get the fatherly influence as their friends. But yeah.
Yeah, like Rita and Lucian, like they didn't live together, but they know the better what they like for their child. Like
Hmm.
she reached her limit of teaching him what it can. Like he because like he got kicked out of school, not kicked out of he got kicked out of school.
Well, he
Then
got
he got
suspended.
suspended,
Yeah.
but like for acting out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like any male, like black male, like if we get in trouble, like but you
Yeah.
gotta you gotta have a male figure. It don't have to be a father, but like an uncle. Like I didn't think that Ricky and Doughboy had the ability to then have the resources to have a father figure or uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they did they have an uncle or a best a
Mm-hmm.
she didn't have any male friends to like really mentor her kids. I'm like I'll say
Yeah.
she I've never I've done her character I did not like her character. That's why I say that. Because
I
like
mean,
she played favoritism with Ricky better than Doughboy. And like
yeah. And then I think they even made I want to say they made reference to like their dads because I don't think they have the same father. I
yeah.
don't think Doughboy and Ricky have the same father. So I want to say that they kind of made reference to um the relationships
Yeah.
with the dads and how she treated one son to the other. Like I think that
Like yo, your
her
dad ain't shit.
and Doughboy's
Like,
dad didn't have the best ending and or whatever. And I feel like she was a bit partial to Ricky due to the fact of how she also felt about his father. So you can see a bit of a toxicity that's happening.
it'd be like,
Um,
yo, you like your dad ain't crap. Your dad ain't like you're not gonna
do nothing just like your
compliment
father,
anything
just
just
like
like
so.
your
Yeah,
father.
you
Like
can see a
I
projection.
said, I seen a couple of women who downgrade they children
Yeah.
to their father. Like you can't
Mhm.
really compare they children to their father. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like it's a product of the environment, but it, they came from the same DNA, but the personality
Yeah,
is
and then it
totally
also,
different.
works on the psyche of the child. I'm pretty sure that Doughboy influenced Doughboy to be the product of the street is because, he probably heard you're just like your daddy anyway.
Yeah,
So, and whereas, when you pour all this hope and positive affirmations into the other son, he sees himself differently.
mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that the Doughboy's psyche, his personality, his mindset, definitely was influenced by the words of hearing those words from his mom. The woman that raised him, that has him. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would
Yeah.
not.
What do you think about the bonding between Trey and Lucius? Like Lucius are furious. Like
His dad,
yeah,
I think it was Lucius.
I think it be either Lucius or Furious. I think it was Furious, I believe.
Mhm.
But like, what do you think about the relationship between Trey and his dad? I think like they were maybe they I think they had a pretty good bonding. And
Hmm.
like tell me like
Furious. Yeah, his name was Furious. Furious.
Furious.
Yeah, Furious. Make sure.
I was wondering like the Lucius or Furious, like Furious.
Yeah,
You got like
but I think that his relationship with his father was very. I think it's the way his dad was that he wanted to try to really instill some type of value and principles with Trey. Things that he felt like Trey, can use or abide by just through life. As a man, as a black man, navigating, in America, trying to find himself. So, wanting him to elevate in higher vibrations, and not feel as though because he's from be
Yeah.
of the hood. This doesn't have to be his final stop. But
Mm,
what I did appreciate about his dad was that even though, and even his mom too, because I don't feel like his mom gave off this vibes, but that, you know, there is beauty with being black. There's beauty with being able to be conscious, but yet still care about, what's going on in your community,
mm,
and what it meant to stay aware of that as well. So, like when he talked about, the different businesses that were moving into the community that was causing gentrification, like that's somebody who's shining light on what's going on in the community, and that's the stuff that we need to pay attention to, like having beefs with your own kind, your kinfolk,
yeah.
kinfolk. That's not the real world war. The real war is what we're not looking at, and that's the fact that you have people who are trying to invade our communities, that want to take it away from us,
Yeah.
that want to be able to push us out of it. um and even with the cops too, like when he had that whole run-in with, when I guess when someone tried to rob him, and he was able to defend his home, and the police took like 45 minutes to get there, and then you had the
Yeah.
black who was just, made the comment and saying, oh, dang, I wish you would have shot, so and so. Like that's a an unfortunate reality of, I want my neighborhood protected. I'm not trying to, kill off,
And then like
you
and like how he said the N word so mad and so furious, and like
know.
he probably is one of those black cops that don't really care about the black community as much. And like how he said that N was so mad and so like unconscientious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sad that you do have some uh black people who think that they are separate from, the other. Like I'm not that type of black person. Or there's a
Hmm.
difference between a black person and let's be honest, like that was a transparent, because that was even an old Chris Rock joke. Like it's, you got your black folks, then you got your niggas, or or I should say, and whatever. And that's dangerous rhetoric, because that's basically saying that there's a class within black folks. Like there's a respectable black, there's a that, and that, anyone that doesn't fall within this check line is considered scum of the earth, that's considered that, when in actuality, when you present it along the lines of racism, we all niggas. It ain't no respectable nothing. We all got it. You just the N word with money,
Hmm.
or you're just the N word with the degree.
And
Um,
like yeah, like this like what NWA. This was before he left NWA,
mhm,
where the song "Boys in the Hood" came from this movie,
mhm,
and it showed how police in the black community so unfairness to the black males and the black people in our community. And it's like this movie tell it all, like in the 1990s. And then and John Singleton done a very good job in telling the black the uh, he made a bunch of great black African American movies with
mhm.
Higher Learning, Boys in the Hood, like how socially a black person is so people like how beneath white people see us as African American as below as beneath them.
Yeah, and it's funny when you said that, it made me even think about the scene. Um, it was at the beginning of the movie when Trey's teacher called home to
Yeah,
his mother,
yeah,
and he made all of these assumptions like, oh, she didn't think she had a job, and she didn't think she had a degree. She didn't think the father was. And I'm gonna tell you something. I felt myself cursing at the TV. I wish I
Oh,
make the assumptions. I said, "Oh, sis, are you like? Why are you speaking to me like you want me to come down there and whoop your tail? Like you like drop the addy? Like you really like?
like,
It
like
wasn't. I really took too much. And it's funny because I've seen that scene. I feel like
so
I've seen
many
that scene.
times.
I guess seeing it now at my age and at my level of awareness. Oh no, that would have never flew.
Then like 2 times, like she got 2 degrees, living like she had lived life. She got a good job, a car, a house, and
hmm
like better like giving Trey a good education, and got the white teacher saying like, "Why your son acting out? Like, is it trouble at home? And like, is you on crack or something? Or you on drugs?
And it
No."
wasn't even that it was trouble at home. He reacted to somebody calling him what they did. Like, but because of the fact that you have people who, and the sad part, and even pushing it past that, because we all know that if a white child would have did some mess like that, you
He
wouldn't have
wouldn't.
his mother who didn't have a job or didn't have a degree or didn't have the father, in his life. So it's just the fact that she was even able to think she had room to disrespect her and that, but that just shows what she thought of her and like what she had thought of Trey. And when you look at even the educational system now, unfortunately, you do have some educators who have that mindset, and that's who like people have no choice but to send their child to school to be under the authority of. So it's yeah, like it was a sad representation of some reality that people are still living under.
Mhm.
When it comes to the fact that if I have a child that acts out in school, you automatically think it's because I'm this, and this, and not just simply the fact that my child just got
It,
smart ass mouth.
trouble, yeah.
Yeah,
Like got a smart mouth.
right. I have a child
But
with
well, that's the king. Like
mama.
it's not about the color. Like don't judge by the color of the skin, the content, but our content, our character.
So that's the real unfortunate. So
Hmm.
so yeah.
And like if at the beginning of the movie, what like would be the symbolism
hmm
of Ronald Reagan in 1991 with bullet holes poster. Like
um,
Ronald Reagan wasn't very popular in 1991
no,
whatsoever.
well, that's because Ronald Reagan took a lot of money out of the black community, out of a lot of the resources out of
Mhm.
it. So a lot of the stuff that was, thriving, closed down a lot, that. And so Reaganomics, it may have, served some people good that was able to get access to funds and credits and other things, but it left the black people really really stuck, which then welcomed in the crack era, which welcome and you had
Uh-huh.
that whole war on drugs
War on drugs
and
by
so yeah
the
and
the
so yeah
famous the Nancy Reagan.
yeah nasty. But so Reagan had did a number on the community. You know what I'm saying? He did
Yeah.
a big, did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, it definitely shows. I think that symbolism kind of showed like where the state of the black community was like
Mm-hmm.
after, everything that has happened during his era. And and yeah, like the aftermath. So I definitely see kind of like this, the symbolism in it being like a post Reagan story
Yeah.
of like this is what happened
And you
after
thought
the damage, yeah, that was done.
and you thought like it would get better, but like you got Bush in '92. Did we get Bush in '90 or was it Bill Clinton in
It was Bill Clinton.
'92?
hmm I think he just got elected in it because yeah he had
Yeah,
that's when he just got elected into his first term.
yeah. So it so like but like 1991, this was right before like the LA riot, the big LA riots.
Hmm.
But like it just the racial intention was so you'll see it because like how the film was depicted,
Hmm.
and people talk about black on black crime. I know even at the beginning of this broadcast saying it was a product of our environment. And like we've been boxed in so much.
Hmm.
There's no other like thing. Like it's a systematic racism. Like it's
Yeah,
go in more detail of why is black on black crime is so in the picture, but it's how can we end it? Like how can we end it? Like how can we
how can
put
we end the community the heightened
a
community violence?
heightened community?
Yeah, the heightened community violence. So yeah,
Yes.
how can we well, I mean, we will have to look at why.
Mm-hmm.
Not just look at the numbers. Why is it that the numbers are high?
Mm-hmm.
And what is contributing to why it is? So like who are, so
And like it's so much guns in the community, you cannot stop it. Like to
but
me,
right in the community is like you don't see gun shops in the city like that. You
no.
don't see that, but right, and it's guns everywhere. So that means
Like somebody giving these people the guns.
into the city, like somebody is selling them under the table. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
has created some type of pipeline in order for them to get this, these ammunitions and even the military style ones. Like there has to be some type of pipeline that's happening. So then they're, to feed that. And plus you already know it ain't happening with us. It has to be somewhat of a connection
Mm-hmm.
that has allowed that to flood the city and especially like places like Chicago where gun keep having a gun in the city is like illegal or even selling in the city, so you have to go out in the suburbs. So clearly
Mm-hmm.
there's somebody had that there's some type of
Some.
masterminding of things like that. But then also, when you look at the state of the community, you have to look at the school system. You have to look at the availability of jobs. You have to look at the, housing. You have to look at, the community centers, and then also grocery stores, also looking at, you know, what is it that's going on with this environment that's influencing this type of interaction. And so when you do look into the environments versus where it's not, more than likely what you're going to see is some type of deficiency. You're going to see some type of disparity, some type of inequity that's going on that's allowing this type of thing. Looking at the family system, where are the influences that are happening there?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these, youth that get into these organizations that are, on the street or whatnot, I guess you can say gang affiliations, a lot of that stems from some type of instability within the environment, not necessarily even in the home, but what's necessarily going on in the environment at large, where you find them becoming a product, whether or not it's through protection, whether or not it's through some type of social acceptance or whatever, to go into the great. And when you don't have a lot of outlets, when you don't have a lot of resources that will allow, adolescents or even adults to form healthy relationships, to be able to do things that will allow them to elevate, you lead, it leads to these types of, environments. And, unfortunately, especially within the Black community, where a lot of them don't have a lot of elders as that are influencers, where you don't have a lot of leaders that are able to establish that type of mentorship, that type of foundation for these communities to drive off of. We kind of, it's like that, and especially with this generation. This
Mm-hmm.
generation has it hard. um they are dealing with lack of resources, broken school systems. Many of them, don't have the influence of the elders, or are able to see, black leaders on a platform that, many of us was able to, and even our parents, grandparents were able to have. Technology, it's just a lot
Mm-hmm.
that they have to deal with.
It's a
So
lot.
yeah, so it's just like, if we as a community are able to do real community development and find ways to replace the resources that our governments have not been able to give us, use the ones that are able to have access to wealth and truly invest in rebuilding the infrastructure on our own, then we
Mm-hmm.
may be able to see somewhat of an improvement. But unfortunately, we do have some black, but because we do have black people that are trying that, they're doing that by at the grassroots level.
Yeah.
But also have some who have assimilated to the point of where they are in it. When they get to certain positions, they're there to stay and
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily be there to pour back into or to gain equity to bring back, but they're there for their own personal, wealth, access, representation. And it kind of sucks. So just like, I mean, it's a controversial statement to say, but if a black person, at any point is, got more than $500 million never, I should see nothing but you pour money back into the community. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you reach a $1 billion status, honey, you were chosen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back, bring it back.
Yeah,
You know,
like
it's just
that
what it.
that good like good statement. Like if you're a black person making millions and millions of dollars, they need to give back to the black community as much as possible. As
you know
much as
and
possible.
and the thing is, this,
We
and it's
need
not to try to say the sad part. It's
or
reality. It's okay.
or I'll say rebuild our community and we need more black business. We need more black hair salon, more black barbershop, more black grocery stores, more black everything, black community. What Fury were talking about, like what about the gentrification and everything else. We need all black everything. We need black businesses influencing at the same time. Rebuild our community. We need everything black owned. We need
Yeah.
everything black owned. Black owned.
And it's to also realize, like, it's the saying, like, we all, like, if until we are free, ain't none of us is like,
Mm-hmm.
because just because you've made it to a certain point does not mean that you're separate from the rest of the community. Like, there's still a responsibility that you have, whether you like it or not. Like, whether you like it or not, whether you don't want to or not. You do have some people that just feel like, I've made all this money, then ain't like, there is a responsibility there, because we don't get to wake up in a world where we don't have to think about the next black man
Mm-hmm.
or next black woman, next black child. Because even though I'm in the position that I am in as a college educated woman, as a health educator, doula, birth worker, someone that has been able to, somewhat stabilize herself in this crazy economy, um and hoping for more abundance. Like, I'll be lying if I sit up here and say that I, you know shouldn't be worried about the next person or whatever black person that like that there's nothing that can never happen that still won't affect me. I mean, right now I'm a doula simply because black women are a higher rate of dying during childbirth due to implicit biases. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
like
mm,
that's within my work. So I how can I not consider that, into the things that I do.
mm,
And so, and I think that also that's another way of how we can stop certain things is that for Black people that have gotten the access, we cannot forget the responsibility that we still have. Like we've been given a blessing to be a vessel.
mm.
Like we have been given that blessing to have
And
access to pour it back. Like let's not fumble that.
and use that vessel to create businesses like of our own. Because like we've been giving money to Costco, Walmart, white businesses for too long. Nike.
Yeah.
Even like I'm about to say Jordan, but Jordan is not a black owned business. It's a brand owned
Mhm.
by like owned by Nike, by a white person. I'm kind of surprised like why Michael Jordan is. It's a whole different discussion with Michael Jordan, like the black community and Jordan and black community. A whole different discussion another time. But
Mhm.
we need is we build our community just like the 19 what did the Tulsa Oklahoma massacre happened in the
The Black
1920s.
Wall Street.
The Black Wall
Mhm.
Street, we need another Black Wall Street. But this time we need to be way more prepared because I think we weren't prepared. We wasn't prepared
I mean, I don't
at
think
that time.
anybody will ever truly be prepared for a total annihilation of somebody's.
Like they saying that the National Guard a bomb like to destroy Black Wall Street.
Well, I don't think honestly that that would. I was in 20 something. My Lord, I hope that will never be. But I do think that we have the potential of doing it again, and I do think that we have enough, Black folks in with access to be able to do it again. So that's
Mm,
us being able to get out of the oh let's have it to let's actually do it.
yeah,
When it comes to that. So yeah, like that's just pretty much like we need to be able to get out of the mode of talking about certain things and actually start
doing it.
doing it. Yeah.
I
So
mean, all right, we got like I think 3 4 minutes. What's your final
mhm.
thought of the movie so far?
Well, I mean it's a great piece cinema of black, of the black plight in
Mm-hmm.
America. I definitely feel like it touches that we deal with in our communities. Of course, at the end, everybody didn't necessarily see a happy ending, which
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately is a sad reality
And
within.
like
You know,
and Vicky got a passing grade in the ACT, and like but he never had a chance to go to college. He had
you
a,
know, and life is cut short due to like what happens when people allow themselves to be overcome with being the product of their environment,
mm-hmm.
which is a real unfortunate thing, which again, which as I said, brings back to my point, like it is it's definitely a good representation of the black plight of our in America and what we the different stresses that we deal with in our community. So hats off to the late John Singleton,
That like John Simpson really laughed at Mike. Uh,
Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Angela Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne,
mhm.
Morris Chestnut, definitely did their thing. So thumbs up, two thumbs
Yeah,
up.
they did a very good job. Like he really led a great cast, and this
Mm.
was the debut of Ice Cube,
Yep,
the
yeah, this
debut
was.
movie
Yep, it
of Ice
was.
Cube, and
It sure was.
he hit it right out of the park,
He
and it
did.
was a long, and, and this his debut, and he made many more good to great movies. down the road.
Mhm. All of them. So yeah, very definitely.
Two, Friday, Friday's next. Are you there yet? Like
Mhm.
first Sunday, I would name them all. Ice Cube,
Mhm.
but like Boys in the Hood was like probably maybe number one. Would be his number one movie.
All right.
Like he came from gangster rap like Boys and like it was a nasty breakup with NWA too.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was a nasty breakup. He created the first diss track that that really showed him to become a solo act. So
Mhm.
I say like
Mhm.
a big up to Ice Cube on that.
Yeah, big up to him.
Like
That's the dude.
what you think about Ice Cube?
No, Ice Cube is that dude. Like Ice Cube will forever be one of the OGs of hip hop, of the culture. Like he has definitely proven himself to be a man of many hats, of many talents, and a real trendsetter. Like
Mm-hmm.
he definitely has done what with very few has, and that's to really expound on his artistic ability.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do nothing but give respect to that, and especially as someone who has always remained true to his people, his culture, his
Mm-hmm.
community. So definitely always will give big respect to Ice Cube.
I definitely want to do a like who was better, Ice Cube or Tupac, in somewhat of a better actor. Like I know it'll be a different
Oh,
video, different
you trying to start a
section.
war in your comments. We ain't got time for that.
Like Tupac like would be who a better actor, Tupac or but like it's a total different video. I'm not going to.
Yeah, we not about no.
All right, this
I
been
got
like
this video.
41 minutes of discussion. It was good discussion too.
Mm-hmm.
So we should do another one of these. You know what movie you want to do next?
No, you choose.
You too?
This your this is your show.
Alright, that's our show.
No, this is your show.
And we should do Dear White People. But I want to see TV show or movie.
Let's stick to the movie. Let's stick to the movies. I can do the movies.
Alright, like we're gonna find out later. So we're gonna do another one of these, but I don't know when we're gonna be doing it. So
We'll figure it out,
we're gonna
friends.
figure it out. So this is my sister Marisha. This is Ian. I will see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, comment. What was your favorite scene, movie, and discussion down below in the comment section. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Wait.